One day, you're going to discover that you weren't tired of your life. You were tired of living a life that didn't look like what you truly wanted. You got used to saying, "That's just how things are," every time something hurt you. You stopped questioning what made you unhappy because changing seemed too complicated. But God didn't create you to turn resignation into a way of life. Sometimes the discomfort you feel isn't ingratitude. It's a sign that you can no longer keep growing within the same limits. And when you finally decide to change, maybe you'll discover that what you called fear had been calling itself purpose for a long time. 2. There's a huge difference between being busy and moving forward. You can spend 12 hours doing things and end the day exactly where you started. You answer messages, solve problems, help everyone, and fulfill responsibilities, but you keep postponing what could truly change your life. Then you ask God why you're not moving forward. Well, maybe you don't lack time. You lack direction. Not everything urgent deserves your best hours. And one day, you might look back and realize that you didn't need more hours in the day. You needed to stop giving them away to things that were never part of your purpose. 3. The next time someone tells you that you've changed, don't rush to defend yourself. Ask yourself why you changed. Maybe before you tolerated things that you no longer accept. Maybe before you needed approval and now you prefer peace. Maybe before you responded from your wounds and now you know how to remain silent. Change doesn't always mean you're becoming someone worse. Sometimes it means that God is finally removing from you behaviors you learned in order to survive. Not everyone who misses your old version actually misses who you were. Some miss how easy it was to control you. 4. You promised yourself that you would never make the same mistake again, and months later, you're facing the same situation. The difference is that now you recognize the pattern. You know how it begins, you know what you feel, and you know where it ends. That awareness is already an opportunity, because God cannot only forgive your mistakes, He can also teach you to stop repeating them. You don't need to hate the person you were to become someone different. You need to understand them, learn from them, and decide that their story will not have the final chapter. 5. There's something you do every time you're afraid. You look for a distraction. You open an app, start a conversation, clean something, work too much. Anything works, as long as you don't have to be alone with your thoughts. But when silence finally comes, that thing is still there. It didn't disappear. You only postponed it. God can find you even in that place inside you that you've been avoiding for months. Because some answers don't appear when you make more noise. They appear when you finally have the courage to listen to what you were trying not to feel. 6. One day you receive an invitation you never expected. It doesn't come from someone important. It doesn't seem like a great opportunity. And honestly, you almost say no. But you decide to go. That small decision ends up leading you to meet someone, discover something, or enter a place that changes a part of your story. That's how some things in life work. They don't seem important while they're happening. God can work through moments that seem insignificant. So don't always dismiss small beginnings. One day you might discover that what you almost rejected was the beginning of something you had been asking for years. 7. There's a reason some people feel uncomfortable when you start setting boundaries. They were used to having unlimited access to you. Before, you answered immediately, explained every decision, and accepted things that hurt you to keep the peace. Now you say no and suddenly you're different. Yes, you're different. But maybe you're not losing people. You're losing the need to betray yourself in order to keep them. God can also teach you that loving others doesn't mean abandoning yourself. 8. You look at your to-do list and there's something that has been written in the same place for weeks. It's not a complicated task. It's a decision. Every day you move it to tomorrow because as long as you don't make it, you can keep imagining different endings. But indecision also has a price. It steals your energy, attention, and peace. You can ask God for clarity for months, but there will come a moment when you'll have to choose. And maybe you'll never receive the absolute certainty you're waiting for, because some decisions only become clear after you have the courage to make them. Instead, someone who doesn't know you tells you a simple phrase that stays with you all day. You can tell you've been through a lot. They don't know anything about your difficult nights. They don't know the losses, the doubts, or the times you thought about giving up. But they noticed, because some wounds eventually become depth. God can take what almost destroyed you and turn it into the reason you can now understand the pain of others. Maybe one day, someone will need exactly the version of you that this season is forming. 10. One day, you're going to have to decide what memory you want to keep from this season. You can remember only what you lost, the doors that closed, and the things that didn't turn out the way you wanted. Or you can remember that, even when you didn't understand anything, you kept walking with God, because a difficult season can become a scar or a testimony. The event doesn't always change, What changes is the story you decide to tell about it. And maybe when all of this is over, you'll discover that God wasn't only taking you toward a new place, He was turning you into someone who could recognize it when it arrived.